All right. Welcome, everyone, to another super episode of Our Parents Meet. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are so glad to have you. And if you're not listening to this, right now at the moment, you're probably listening to it on your favorite mobile device. I am Philip, and I'll be hosting this episode this evening. And I'm so happy to be here because I'm joined by my two compadres. And the first is Charles. Charles, how's it going tonight? You all right?
Yeah.
He's cracking up, folks.
Yeah, if you guys, because some of you are listening to this audio only, you may not have seen the big clusterfuck that just happened where my computer just crapped out fucking completely on me. And so this is 57A for people who watch this live.
Well, yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm glad everything's all resolved there, Charles. I'm glad to have you back. And
Yes.
the other one joining is Jason, but I call him Turf. And Turf, how's it going this evening for
Man, I am patient as Job. We'll get this thing done. We'll enjoy it, and people will enjoy hanging out with us. So if you happen to stumble across this, say what's up in the chat.
you? All right. You got that set up and you're monitoring it right now as we speak?
You betcha.
All right, great. Well, we're going to try a little something new this evening on Our Parents' Basement, and then we'll get to a main topic. We're going to try to do some current events. We are, a group of geeks, and we like to see what's going on in pop culture and especially nerd culture. And I'm going to hand the floor over to Charles. He's got a couple of news stories he wants to share with us, and we're just going to, talk about them real quick. So, Charles, what have you got on the news this evening?
So apparently, earlier this weekend, there's a massive hacking attack, and it's all this ransomware that came up.
And they obviously just got your computer
And
too.
what is this going on now? Go away. So apparently, and they also claim to have grabbed Pirates of the Caribbean 5. It's either the full movie or bits and pieces of the movie.
Mhm.
I highly doubt it's the full movie. There's these other people who Disney will send parts of the film to be worked on, and they may work on it, and their networks may not be as secure.
Mhm.
So they could have grabbed big chunks of that's these other special effects companies or other colorless were working on. So
Okay.
that probably was what got hacked.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense, because when I saw this, I was thinking, Disney, why? Why would you put a full movie on a computer that has access to the internet? Somebody, if it's able to be out there, somebody will take it.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
That makes way
You
more
guys
sense
were
than to
in-
be a part of the movie.
Yeah. If you guys were in charge of Disney, you got this news like, oh no, our new movie's been hacked. We got to pay ransom. Would you pay the ransom? I got to ask.
I wouldn't. I'd
They're
be like,
not going to do it.
I'm going to release it. Just like you'll have a handful of people that I can find it on the internet. Why should I pay? But for the most part, people are just gonna. It's still funny, right? People are gonna still go to the movie, get that movie theater experience, get their popcorn and sit down and watch Johnny Depp do that thing.
Yeah, he does it
Savvy.
so well. Yeah, like there's no, okay, you want to watch on your laptop or your tablet or something with shitty quality, go right ahead. Good job, terrorists. You really aimed big. You showed us what you can do. But I think true fans of this franchise, which has been going on for over 10 years now, they're going to go to the theater and get that whole movie experience. So, I mean, I wouldn't pay them a dime.
Yeah, there's no way, because the movie comes out tonight. So
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Tonight?
yeah.
Oh,
So let it happen, man. Go ahead.
do your worst. Wow.
So really, what are they going to do? You're going to steal, a handful of people that probably weren't even going to go see it to start with.
Yeah.
Let it be out there. Who cares?
It's not like Disney's going to lose any money anyway. I mean, they're still going to be Disney and still rake in the dough.
Well, and not only that, you can't give in to people, and because if the first time you pay somebody, then you're just going to get attacked constantly. People trying to find, the next whatever Disney's doing. Star Wars, obviously. Why? People.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Without a doubt, people will be after Star Wars, wanting it. They'll hold it ransom because it's going to make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Charles, you wouldn't pay them either.
Nah.
Nah. You're like, screw them.
Like, screw it, you ain't getting money.
Yeah,
People are still going to pay to see it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think no matter what, this is going to be a huge movie. I think someone mentioned earlier that, Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley are back in the cast, so that's a benefit. And like this, I really don't see how. Honestly, I'm not even sure how this became news in the first place, because it's not that. When you think about it, I mean, this movie is going to be fine, and Disney's going to be fine, and we're all going to be fine, just fine.
I'm really, really hoping that it's a better movie. I fell out. Like the first Pirates of the Caribbean was great, loved it. The second one was still pretty good, and then the third one was when they released the Kraken. That one was not that good, but it gave people a good thing to say when they unzip their pants. But I never watched the fourth one. Haven't ever seen it. So
I didn't see the fourth one either. All right. So I thought I was alone in this because I had no interest in the fourth one.
I know I seen the first one. I don't remember if I seen the second one. I know I didn't see the third and the fourth ones.
You don't remember if you've seen the movies or not?
I know I saw one of them. I don't know which one I saw. They're all the goddamn same movie.
When did
no, they're not.
First?
It's Johnny Depp walking around like a crazy drunk guy.
So Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp, or is that what you're trying to say?
Much. As things have gone on, has Johnny Depp not just turned into Jack Sparrow?
Kind of.
I think he is that guy now. Savvy.
He was Sweeney Todd for a bit. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. I really liked that movie. I didn't think I was going to, but I saw it, and I'm like, am I a musical? Really? Yeah. But that was cool.
Wasn't it fun? Just a fun, dark musical.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. How about that, America?
Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of things that, we enjoyed that, we're not sometimes too proud to admit, or we are. Depends on what. For instance, I'll be the first to admit I enjoy more than I should, finding stuff for the Sega Saturn, even though it's kind of expensive. And speaking of Sega, does that lead us to our next news story, Charles?
Yes. Sega is apparently they want to try to revitalize some of their intellectual property that has tuckered out a bit. It's not in too much. They haven't really done much with. And I was starting to read it on the computer when it died.
Well, that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sega has a ton of cool IPs that they could bring back. We've had a lot of Sonic, and correctly done. I think they've had Bayonetta, which is I believe is a Sega property, which is awesome. But there hasn't been much other that they've really hung their hat on Sonic the last decade. They have a ton of cool IPs that they could bring back that I'd like to see games out of.
Oh, absolutely.
First and foremost would be Crazy Taxi. Everybody loves Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to get the same soundtrack, or it just wouldn't be the same. It would be. Yeah.
I think you could. I think that'd be possible. Like, how many songs are on that soundtrack?
The first song was all that you'd have to have.
Oh, the
want to make some crazy money. Then,
yeah.
Dexter Holland and Offspring.
That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, if you just get that one, I think the rest will kind of
the rest we can do whatever we want. I mean, you can put Justin Bieber and
you put Miley Cyrus on there. I mean,
you could put whatever you want on there as long as we get that. Yeah. That's how you have to start. But they have a ton of IPs, a ton of intellectual properties that they could bring back. That Afterburner. I tell you one that I was interested in, that like Clockwork Knight.
I just finished that game a month ago. Good call.
It's really neat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. Very it's Toy Story meets Donkey Kong Country.
And like what made me, when I was reading on these, I was like, there's a lot of the 2D action platformers in the vein of Shovel Knight that are out there. They brought back Wonder Boy, which is Wonder Boy a Sega property? I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't know. But that Wonder Boy and the whatever came out 2 weeks ago, something like that for digital. And Limited Run Games is going to have one this summer, which I will buy because that's cool. But there's a ton of those. There's Gauntlet. In the last 2 or 3, 4, 5 years, there's been a Gauntlet for PC. It's a Steam game. There's a lot of fun. So if you've got that, you could have like Golden Axe, the Barbarians type stuff. Bring that back. Of course, what everybody wants.
Sega. Oh, go ahead, Turf. You got more?
What everybody wants is more. They want to bring back Seaman or Seaman.
Squeeze me. Oh, the game. I'm like, I mean, I'm not sure if it's bringing it back, or just making more of it. But yeah, they do. They sure do. I never played that. That was Dreamcast, right?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the microphone somewhere. I can say I've never played it. I know Leonard Nimoy talks to you. He's a fish person thing.
Oh, rest in peace.
That's one reason to get it and play as Leonard Nimoy.
I've got it in the microphone around here somewhere, but I've never tried it.
That Dreamcast, it was like, in a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of the old, like the Nintendo Entertainment System, kind of like throw things at the wall, see what sticks type of thing. Exactly. That's what I think when I think of a Dreamcast.
What
Space
are
Channel 5?
Yeah, Space Channel 5 would be excellent.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun game.
It's
Absolutely
super fun. Catchy.
Jet Set Radio is kind of along that same very colorful type vibe. That's a really fun, different game that they could bring back. Gunstar Heroes would be an excellent downloadable game.
Yeah.
2D hand-drawn sprites. I think it'd be great.
I've got the for Game Gear.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Then Panzer Dragoon.
There it is. I was like, is he gonna say it, or do I have to shake it out of him?
I was gonna let you have Panzer Dragoon Saga, but you weren't saying much, so I'm gonna keep talking. Panzer Dragoon. Let's bring that. Let's ride some dragons and burn stuff. I want Panzer Dragoon / Game of Thrones. Is that too much HBO? Sega HBO.
You might actually. Oh wait, you actually want it in the Game of Thrones universe? Is that what?
Yes. I want to ride a dragon in the in Westeros and burninate stuff. Or better yet, I want Trogdor the game, or Trogdor to be a playable character in Panzer Dragoon.
Yes.
Trogdor, the Burninator.
Trogdor was a dragon.
No, Trogdor was a man. He was a dragon man. Maybe he was just a dragon, but he was Trogdor. Sorry. I turned it 2001 all over again.
About a front row concert. I was going to say something about Panzer Dragoon, but now I completely. Oh yeah, if they were to bring back not just the first two, Panzer Dragoon and then Panzer Dragoon's Way, if they were to bring back Saga, I think it would make so many people so very happy, and I would be so very happy for those people. Like, not everyone is going to be able to play Panzer Dragoon Saga, because as time goes on, that game is going to get more and more pricey. So for some way to for there to be some way to get folks to play that properly, I would be thrilled for them. Because
I'm with you. Let's bring back that universe. I mean, I think there's a lot to be done with that.
Now I haven't played the other games in the series yet. I haven't played the first one, Saga or Zwei or Orta, but I want to. I mean, I love a good rail shooter. But man, something about Saga just so good. So I need to get those at some point.
And here's one that I would really like for him to bring back. And I was talking about this to somebody the other day. I want him to bring back Sega Bass Fishing. There was something extremely satisfying about that game. I had the fishing rod controller.
Yeah.
Throw it out there and you just try to catch a bigger fish. And I don't know what it is about that game, but it's excellent.
You know what's funny about those controllers? I saw someone is either I read about it in a magazine back in the day, or I saw it on YouTube. I can't remember which. Someone beat Soul Calibur in the Dreamcast with a Sega Bass Fishing.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So that rod or that
it's got all the buttons on it.
Yeah, it's history right there. Oh, speaking of which, duh. Now this might not be Sega. This might be Capcom. Power Stone. Is that Capcom? It was on the Dreamcast.
I believe that was not on the list of games I looked at.
Okay, I'm thinking Dreamcast now. We gotta go back to Sega, like Sega Universe. All
You
right.
can't have Cannon Spike either, which I've really got a hankering to get Cannon Spike for the Dreamcast, and I don't know why. I really want it now. It's expensive.
Yeah, that's what to say. You have to sell a kidney.
Well, I can sell like a toe, maybe. I have accident insurance. And then there's Shinobi. You can always bring back Shinobi. That's cool. So
the last Shinobi game was out in 2011, I believe.
For the DS or 3DS?
3DS, yeah. It was pretty good. Not the best. But
so maybe that's not one to really bring back, but
give it a chance.
Did we mention Fantasy Star yet?
No, we didn't. That would be
I think that's one that I saw that was mentioned on the list real quick.
Really?
Fantasy Star is one that they're probably thinking of bringing back.
See, I thought Phantasy Star was already kind of still going on. Like, I know they had some games on the PSP and maybe a few on the Vita in Japan only. I can't recall, but hey, if it's on the list, it's on the list. Yeah, bring it back.
I mean,
I never say no to more RPGs. So, any more that you guys would like to see?
Let's see. I said bass fishing. Echo the Dolphin. I think you could make a really gorgeous game. I didn't ever like the game, but it was pretty, and it was very soothing.
It was.
Oh, Nights. I think Nights would be cool to bring back. Nights into Dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know what. I know what they need to bring back. America, and only if they bring back the special controller that they used with it.
Oh, geez.
Res.
Okay. Yeah.
Sega needs to bring back Res and the Trans Vibrator.
Guys,
don't
love
know
it.
what that is. Turn on your Google box and check it out. It's not as
don't buy
dirty as
it used. Don't buy it used.
Yeah, dude, it's one you don't want to buy used. Res in Japan, there was an optional piece of hardware, maybe a controller that was made to slide in your pocket, and it would vibrate with the game. So you can just imagine what that was used for.
Well, I think that came to America too.
Oh, did it? I thought it was Japanese.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was released on our side as well. I mean, which surprises me because we're a conservative bunch. You know,
well,
that's not.
Come on, what it was meant for was not to masturbate, but that was what people used it for.
Yeah, I mean, vibrators are expensive. Not that I know. So I mean, why? There it is. So why would you? Why you could buy a game? It's like a 2-for-1 deal. You buy a video game that you like and buy a vibrator that your significant other can use while you play your new game, which I guess was actually a pretty fun game, kind of like a rhythm shooter, puzzle type of game.
Didn't it come out on Xbox Live? And I thought they did. It was a rhythm type game. I mean, it's apparently pretty good, but it came with a masturbation device. So whether he intended to or not, it did.
Yeah.
So there's that, America.
And the thing about the Trans Vibrator, it came with a felt bag that you could carry it around in.
And by carry it around, you mean slide down your pants?
Put the res on the go.
And apparently, it was it's fairly powerful.
What will they think of next? Man, I just see this is how we do it at OPB. We just, our minds go there. But that's okay.
No, they don't.
Any other Sega franchises you want to hope come back? I mean,
I hope they make another Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic's got to hang those damn shoes up already. I am so sick of Sonic. I'll be honest with you. Last Sonic game I played was Sonic 2, and none of them looked fun ever since. None of them.
Sonic and Knuckles was fun.
Yeah. From what I've seen, they're gearing more towards PC games.
I'm okay with that. It's easier to develop for.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
You don't have to develop the hardware. Which hardware is going on? It's just going on. It's going on Windows or Mac.
Right, and generally Windows is backwards compatible enough that you can run just about anything on XP on Windows 10.
Yeah.
So that's where the world's going. So in the business world, I think that makes sense to do.
Sure.
If I was going to develop games, I'd develop them for Xbox, for PC, and probably not even Mac. It would just be PC, and because that's what 90% of the world has is a PC.
Gamers don't use Macs.
Can you game on a Mac, actually?
There is a small niche of Mac gamers out there. They're all hipsters.
They're playing Oregon Trail.
They're playing.
They're playing Odell Down Under.
But seriously, there's not near the AAA games that come out for Steam that come out for Mac Steam, or Steam Mac, whatever they call it.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and Steam.
I can see.
I don't know.
Big Mac.
Anyways, any more? Anything else, Sega, you wanted to see come back to the light? Well, it's funny we talked about Sega because back in the day of the Genesis, Sonic was all the rage. But I'm gonna be honest with you too. Even though the Genesis was pretty cool, it was not in any way, shape, or form holding a candle to one of my favorite consoles of all time, the Super Nintendo. You guys, tonight on Our Parents' Basement, we're going to pay homage to one of the most important gaming consoles in all of history. And if you're from that little part of Arkansas, one of the most important gaming stations in all of gaming history. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So, the Super Nintendo, let's just break it down. I mean, I'll never forget this. The year was, I think, 1991. And I was driving home. I wasn't driving. I was in the back seat and going back from soccer practice, and someone mentioned something like, yeah, the new Super Nintendo's out. I'm like, what's the Super Nintendo? He said, think of the Nintendo only with more buttons and better. And I was like, oh, I gotta have this. And that was my very first taste of what a Super Nintendo was. And it wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 days later that my neighbor across the street actually got a Super Nintendo. And oh man, my first Super Nintendo game, Super Mario World, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I grew up on Mario 3 and the very first Mario Brothers. So to see Mario do all this new stuff, the cape, Yoshi, and to see him in this colorful environments, these great graphics, to see this controller that looks kind of like a little dog bone with, buttons on the shoulders, left and right. It had an X and Y button. I mean, what was not to love? It blew your mind. You know what I mean? So
right.
Super Nintendo, so much history with it, so many good games. It did not go down without a fight. Even during the PlayStation era when that was starting to, rise to prominence, Super Nintendo was still going strong. And if you were cool, you were a Super Nintendo fan. If you were I guess back then, hipster wasn't really a term. If you were not cool, then you owned a Genesis. That's just how it went.
Yeah. I had a Super Nintendo, so.
I think my first exposure, of course, I had Nintendo Power, so yeah. I was following it closely every month. I would just engulf whatever they had, just devour whatever articles they had about the Super Nintendo. So I was all about that. And then they got one at Walmart, the local Walmart, the little electronics section. They got a Super Nintendo kiosk, and oh boy. I sat back there. Mom would go get groceries, and I was back there playing the Super Nintendo until it would reset every 5 minutes. So it was
rude.
I take it back. I don't think the Nintendo one reset, but I don't think the Super Nintendo one did.
It did.
Did it?
I remember Toys R Us doing that.
Okay, well then. Okay. Anyways, it would save. It was whatever. So I played it a lot. I played the first few levels a lot while my mom was getting groceries, and I knew I had to have it. So when did you get yours? Did anybody get one that first Christmas?
I did
not. I did not either. No. How about you?
I didn't get one the first Christmas. I got it the next February. The first week in February is my birthday. And I had an aunt that she paid half of it, and I paid the other half with what money other people had given me. So nice. I got it the first I guess my first birthday after it came out. So about 6 months deep. There weren't a whole lot of games yet, even. The first game I bought, of course, Mario World was there. It was the first game I had, and then I bought Final Fight. For a long time, I just had Mario and Final Fight, and probably
two good games though.
Yeah, they were good, and that was probably what I had until the next Christmas.
Wow. Okay. I didn't get mine until the year the PlayStation actually came out, so I believe that was 1994. And the reason why it took me so long, was because I was still kind of hooked on the original Nintendo. This is before I got into RPGs. I was a big Mega Man fan, so I had Mega Man 6, Mega Man 2, and that kept me busy. However, eventually, I went over to a friend's house for a sleepover. He had a Super Nintendo, and what was popped in the Super Nintendo? None other than Mega Man X. And that's when I knew, okay, this Christmas I am begging my parents for one of these bad boys. And thankfully, I got the game, Super Mega Man X, and of course the console. So, yeah.
Did you have any of the other Mega Mans when
Mega
the first
Man
time
Nine?
around? Yeah. What did you have? Did you have 7 or X2 or X3?
No, 7 I thought was a myth until I got into collecting, honestly.
Gotcha.
And then Mega Man Soccer, same thing. X2 we rented from Blockbuster. X3 we rented more from Blockbuster. And actually, little story about X3. I came this close to keeping X3 for myself and putting my OG copy of Mega Man X in the Blockbuster rental case. And thinking, oh, sorry, it was a mistake. My bad. I shouldn't. I was in a hurry. Had to go, but I didn't go through with it. I was too scared.
Well, if you're a pro at that, you could unscrew the case and put another board in there, and no one would know.
See, I did not know you can do that. Well, what about you, Charles? When did you get yours?
I got my Super Nintendo probably 1994, I want to say.
So
I
around
got
the same
it.
time I did.
I got it the year Donkey Kong Country came out. I got the
3?
94. It was like
4?
released
3?
November 94. I just looked it up.
Okay.
So, I got the VHS tape for Donkey Kong Country, and I was watching like, oh, this game is awesome. I have to get this
Nice.
game. And that's what I asked my parents for the Super Nintendo and Donkey Kong Country, and that's what I got. And I got the one of the Super Mario World and Super Mario All Stars and Donkey Kong Country, so I got like 3 games.
Nice.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah. The first games I got I said Mega Man X, but my brother, he's also a gamer. So the games that we got with ours were X and Samurai Showdown, the fighting game.
That's not a bad one.
That's a good game.
Yeah. It's good. It was fun. Good 2-player action, And then it wasn't until my following birthday that I got a little gem called Breath of Fire for as a gift from a friend of mine. And well, the rest is history. That's what got me hooked to the RPG genre. Just that birthday gift that changed everything.
Well, that's we kind of all have our own stories of when we got it. How do y'all feel about the Super Nintendo now? Do you still actively look for it? Is there anything you are looking for? Is there?
I still kind of do. It's with the game shops I go to, there's not too many games out there for it. There's tons of sports games they always have, and very few of the actual good games.
Yeah, what you're looking for.
Yeah, and those good games, they're not cheap.
No,
they're like $20-$30 for a cheap one.
But there's so many good games, so many really fun games, even games that aren't that expensive. Mario World is, it's what, $10, $20, $15, something like that.
Yeah.
It came packed in with most systems, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic game. So, yeah, I think there's a whole lot of collectors out there, and it is more expensive than even NES. I don't think there's as many super expensive games, but I think on average, it definitely costs more to collect for Super Nintendo as opposed to NES. So
I can see that. I could definitely see that.
There's a lot of good games for Super Nintendo.
So many good ones. Yeah.
There's very, very few. There are some bad ones, like always, but there are few. I have to say that there's not too many bad ones that they had out there.
There's a bunch of very, very good games, and I'm a huge NES guy. I love the NES. It's where my heart is, I guess, when it comes to collecting. But as far as fun games, there are more fun games, more forever, of the great games on the Super Nintendo compared to the NES.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When I go to rattling off my favorite games of all time, there's way more of them on the NES than there is, or on the Super Nintendo as there is the NES. So I'll even admit that. And yeah, I'm an NES guy. So.
Well, I just think it, is a kind of a testament to the Super Nintendo's just staying power. I mean, if you take a good game, not some crappy sports game, but just take a good game that is kind of universally well liked, and you pop it in, you'll notice that the graphics are still good, the controls are still responsive and tight, the music is good. Depending on the game, there might be some, what's that called, Mode 7, like that. Yeah, there's like some Mode 7-ness going on.
Effect.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very classic. It's got such staying power, and correct me if I'm wrong, feels like Super Nintendo cartridges and the Super Nintendo console were built to last. They seem pretty sturdy, so they'll be around for a while.
I've only had one out of all the Super Nintendos I've had. I've only had one that wouldn't work that I had to use for parts. And that includes I've done quite a bit of soldering on them. Yeah, and putting because there's the power supply where it plugs in, there's a piece in the middle, a plastic piece that tends to break, and if you have to get a new little thing and soldered in there, the female end of the plug, if you will. So I've done that quite a bit. So, but other than that, I mean, I've only had one Super Nintendo that I couldn't fix. That is just it's out there in a bag for parts.
Yeah,
but so. They're tanks, man.
Yeah, we don't have ours anymore. I mean, I have a Retron, so I can still play Super Nintendo games. Charles, you still have yours?
I still have my original Super Nintendo.
Nice.
My brother has my original Super Nintendo. When we got older and parted ways, he kept the Super Nintendo and I kept the NES. So I do have my original NES. It's right there. I can see you. How you doing? And hey girl, how you doing? But I do know where it is. I know where my original Super Nintendo is. So
nice.
And let me tell you, we split up our things, and I'm thinking I got a better deal. He got about 30 games. I got about 50. Daddy got him. Oh no. In my box of NES games that me and him shared, we had Earthbound. We had Chrono Trigger. We had Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3. We had I had a 16-bit spell where I was really into RPGs. We had, I think, the first Breath of Fire. Yeah, so he definitely got the better end of the deal on me on that one.
Yeah, squirrely motherfucker.
He didn't mean to. It's just what he liked more. So
that's fine.
Yeah, we parted. He's still got it. He's got it. Crazy enough, this dude, my brother, he has one of the most killer Super Nintendo collections that you'll see. Like I said, he's got Evo, he's got Earthbound, he's got all these RPGs. He keeps them in a milk crate next to his TV.
What?
Not even joking.
Such a thing. Display those things, yo.
Wait, that's a gamer, not a collector.
That's a dude that just bought games that he wanted. Didn't even realize what he had. And like, oh, by the way, you've got $2,000 worth of games in this milk crate.
I would say $2,000 at least.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, he's got our original Legends of Zelda. He has Super Metroid that was our original.
Earthworm Mario RPG.
Mario RPG, our original one of those.
Wow.
Yeah, just all this good stuff that we had that we bought. Either me or him one bought when we were growing up. He just kept it, and he's added a few more. Like we didn't have Evo at the time. I bought that for him for Christmas a few years ago because I found it for $20. Imagine that. So I got it.
Damn.
Yeah. So I got that for him. But yeah, I mean, he's got all these crazy games, and they're just hanging out next to his TV.
Yeah, collecting for Super Nintendo is definitely an expensive endeavor. A lot of times after, I'm away home from work, there's a little shop I go to that deals with used media, and they sometimes have Super Nintendo games. Those are always like in a display case, in protective glass, and they had Final Fantasy 3 there the other day for $60 just for the cartridge. So it's gotten pricey these days.
It is pricey, and that's probably not crazy high. I don't think. I think it's.
Yeah.
I want to say it's about between 40 and 60. I mean, so.
Yeah.
It bounces back and forth.
Sure.
So, kind of once again pushing the segue. What are some of y'all's favorite games? I thought it might be fun for us to each pick out 3 Super Nintendo games and highlight them as our favorites
All right.
for the system. So I'm going to go last because I got 2 extras in case you stepped on my toes. So
Ooh. Well, in that case, Charles and Charles, why don't you go first?
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
oh, it's excellent.
I love that game.
Nice.
I forgot to get that one. I would have grabbed that one if I'd have thought of it. It's on the bottom shelf. So
That's a game I could just play that for hours. I get lost in that game.
it's fun. It's silly, and it's kind of that hallmark of Super Nintendo games. The graphics, the 16-bit style sprites still hold up. They're still pretty to look at. So that's a good one, man. That's a really fun game.
Nice choice.
And of course, I go Donkey Kong Country, the game that really got me my Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's
those pre-rendered graphics and all that. That was
and that still looks
groundbreaking.
good.
It does still look good. And it's still
yeah.
really fun to play. It's a lot harder than I remember, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
And to get the and try to beat the game without dying once and get a perfect score in that game, that is hard. Find every secret in every level.
It's way tougher than I remember.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of secrets in that game, but it keeps track of how many times you died? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why you get that little time score on the screen.
Yeah.
I think like a perfect one is like it says like 10 minutes and something, but it doesn't actually take 10 minutes. It's not an actual time.
I did not know that.
Knowledge. Love it.
Dropping knowledge bombs.
And probably a third one would be, well, it's a series, the Mega Man series on Super Nintendo.
Oh,
boy, he took a dump right on you, didn't he?
Love.
Yeah,
you can't pick one.
Yeah, you can. The first one's the best one.
Ooh,
one?
we're going to
Mega
go a
Man
little fun
7?
here soon. 7?
Mega Man 7 for Super Nintendo?
I've never played 7.
I never played 7
or
either.
are you talking about the X series?
I'm talking about X.
Like, yeah, that's good. Mega Man 7's good. X,
I've played X 1, 2, and 3, and I have played 7. It was on the anniversary collection.
Oh, then yeah, I did play 7.
I
Okay,
played all of them, so yeah, I did play 7. I just don't remember much about it. But yeah, the first X was my favorite one.
Because like you start with you can only choose one of 4 boss robots instead of 8. So once you beat the first 4, then you move to the second 4. It was weird. So
if Jenny's
right.
putting her one choice in, she said Super Bomberman, the multi-tap, and a case of beer.
Heck yeah. That's a
winning
party
combination. God, that was fun. Good times. All right, good choices. I got top 3 as well. I gotta say, I mean, Turf, I'm surprised you didn't like Mega Man X3 because that's one of my top 3.
No, it's fine. It's not that I didn't like it. It was a good game. I just like the first X better.
You get to play as Zero. You got to listen to that music. The music in X3 felt like it had more of a metal rock and roll vibe instead of that techno jazzy stuff that X and X2 had. And don't get me wrong, Mega Man series X or not is known for great music, but the soundtrack in X3 was just so like your head's banging, your fist is pumping, and it was such a good game. Love it. Plus, it had multiple endings, which is pretty cool too. So there's that. There's that one. Next one I have to say is Lufia 2: The Rise of the Sinistrals. You guys play that one?
No.
I have it, but I've never played it.
You have it?
I have not played it.
Okay.
I acquired that at Retropalooza 1 from a gentleman named John Houston, Big John, if you nasty. I traded him at the time. They were about equal trade. I traded him Mega Man 5 for it, and Mega Man 5 is a little bit higher now. But yeah, anyways, I have it. Sorry, fun story.
Lufia 2 is probably just as high. I would think, right?
They were both about $60 at the time.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was how many years ago?
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah. So I could see that. Great game, great RPG, obviously. That I didn't get to play for the first time until maybe 2 years ago, and for me to play a new to me RPG and still be completely wowed by it. I mean, that says something about the system it's on and about the game itself. So, Dan, thanks again, Becca, if you're watching this, for the game. I appreciate it. It was a birthday gift, so I feel special.
Bless her heart.
But my number one, Super Nintendo game of all time, and one of my favorite games of all time. It's one I replay as much as possible. It's one that I hope comes to the Switch here pretty soon because it's coming out in Japan in middle of June. Secret of Mana. I adore this game. It's like when I think of like childhood gaming, Secret of Mana is just the top of everything because I would play it after school. If I was going to like a friend's house, I would bring my copy over. We would play together. Sometimes my brother would play with me. It was such I have no words for it. It's such a fun game, and I still enjoy playing it. And I'll say this right now to all those listening: if the Mana collection gets localized for the United States, I will buy a Switch that very same day it's announced.
Wow.
So, boom, there you have
That's
it.
love right there, man.
That is love. I played it so many times, but hey, I'll play it again on the Switch. I'm not above it. Love this game.
I don't blame you, man.
What about
All
you
right.
two? What are your top three?
Well, I don't have top 3. I have 5 because screw y'all. And I'm going to show them to you because that's how I get down.
Show and tell.
Probably my favorite, the one I played the most, was Super Mario World. It came back to
yeah.
the system. It's still the best Mario game and possibly the best game ever made.
Where'd you get that case? That case is
Made
cute.
those.
You made those.
Well, they're universal game cases, and then I downloaded the art off of
The cover project. Yeah.
and stuck them in there. So they're cool looking. They're cool looking cases.
Nice.
The next one, and these aren't in any order. Super Metroid. This is a super fun game. It's got that atmosphere of being alone and stranded on a planet. And
Yeah.
the music is perfect. The game it's all but perfect, man. It's fantastic. I'm going kind of fast, but it's okay because I've got 5. This is possibly my favorite beat 'em up of all time, maybe the best beat 'em up of all time. Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
Oh yeah.
I've had me and the boy. We play this one. We play it a lot.
Mhm.
We can turn it. That's actually one of the first games that we finished together. We finished Contra, and I think that may have been the next one that we finished together. So, holds a little space in the heart, little fancy pace in the heart.
Memories.
Little misty one.
Yeah, I love that game. It's good. It's fun. It's just a blast, man. And that cool Krang in the background, the first level is just it's awesome. This game is possibly once again one of the best games ever. It's whenever people go to listing the best games ever, it's always in the conversation, and it rightfully so. It is Link to the Past. This is maybe it's my favorite Zelda game. A Link Between Worlds was really close because for the 3DS that was excellent.
Sure.
But I've played through this one several times. It's man, it's such a good game that it introduced the light and the dark worlds and being able to go back and forth between them. And it introduces the Master Sword. Geez, man, it was everything. It's the beginning of what Zelda is now. So, and then my last one, and this is not even really, it's a good game, but it's not the best. This is the very copy. I found this, probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
This is a game that I rented when I was a kid, and I found the very same copy in a game store probably about 3 years ago. And so this is one of my favorite things that I've collected. It's Shadowrun.
Oh.
Have you ever played Shadowrun?
No, I heard good things.
Got that on Genesis.
Well, the Genesis game is a different game than the NES game.
Okay.
It's the same type of world. From what I understand, and I don't know, somebody can correct me down in the comments below if I'm not right. It was a tabletop series that they moved over to the NES. It's set in like the near future. Now this was before the Matrix, but you plugged in and kind of went into a Matrix type, a computer world, kind of like the Matrix. But then there was in the real world, there were orcs and trolls and stuff like that, kind of the magic type stuff. And you could use magic and you could use machine guns.
Oh,
It's a weird RPG thing, but it's pretty awesome.
I haven't played. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I would say check Shadowrun out.
All right.
It's very quirky, very different.
Sure.
But I think anybody that tries it will dig it.
Jeff, I'm surprised you didn't mention Chrono Trigger in your top 5.
Well, I knew you were going to, so I didn't get it out.
Well, I guess I'll mention it now. Chrono Trigger. Hey.
Yeah,
there you
Chrono Trigger is one of my favorites, and Earthbound's one of my favorites too. But I was trying to limit it. I only dug out. Actually, I dug out 4, and then I saw Shadowrun sitting there. I was like, I got to mention that. That's a cool story. But yeah, I figured you would mention Chrono Trigger, so I didn't get it down.
Oh, well, we can mention
Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 2 or
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Just kidding.
I don't have Mystic Quest.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'll tell you all straight. It's not that bad of a game. It's just really basic, and it has the best soundtrack of a Final Fantasy game ever. There, I said it. Best Final Fantasy soundtrack ever, America.
Like I've got 50 games in these cases. I bought. Me and a buddy split 100 box of these cases because that's the only way you can get them is in 100. And I'm sitting there looking at them. I was like, man, there are some good games. Mario RPG.
Oh, so good.
Sunset Riders, Yoshi's Island, Super Punch Out, Sparkster, Secret of Evermore, Secret of Mana, Mega Man Soccer. Oh Lord, Knights of the Round, King of Dragons. Man, there's just so many excellent games. Wow.
And what I like now, kind of about current consoles, or current Nintendo consoles, they have some of these Super Nintendo games available on their online shop. So
Absolutely,
you can download and play.
Actually, I think this last week, kind of speaking of Super Nintendo stuff, our buddy Norman Caruso, the gaming historian, he did a show on, or did an episode about Mario RPG. About the history of it and things like that. It's really good and a really good, I guess, like I said, background and history of the game. That's another one that I've played through several times, and I really enjoy it.
What I like about Mario RPG is that it's quick. You can finish it in a weekend if you're dedicated enough.
Oh yeah,
and still do everything. You know, I mean, now that we're
quick, it's I don't want to say dumbed down, but it's just doesn't have a super deep RPG. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not like it has a major plot twist or it's very thought-provoking, but it still there's still a battle system that, you know, requires some reflexes. It's got great writing. I mean, I think the humor is wonderful.
And Bowser gets to be on your team.
Yeah, Bowser and Princess Toadstool, because he was Toadstool at that time. You know, and they're both really good allies. So
Mallow was a chump, but the rest of them were.
Oh, Mallow. I liked Mallow. He looked cute. Just want to squeeze.
He was totes adorbs, but you know, whatever. And then, but you had Gino. Gino was awesome.
Gino was a boss.
A star soul turned into a puppet. He's like Pinocchio from hell. It was awesome.
He was rocking that blue hat like a boss as well. So Gino's where it's at. You know, if there was ever a character I wanted to see in a new Smash Brothers, it'd be Gino. So, anyways, you guys have anything else to add to the Super Nintendo talk? Because we've beat this guy to death.
It's it's one of my favorite consoles. Probably my favorite, not necessarily to collect for, but probably my favorite console to play.
I can see that, definitely. Charles, how about you?
That's the one I play more than my NES or anything else. I go back to the Super Nintendo more than I do anything.
Nice. Yeah, when I think of like total game hours logged per system, yeah, Super Nintendo's not anywhere near like PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2, but it's up there. I have played a lot of games, 60 hours a piece, and a lot of those games are just so much fun to replay because you can just pop in and play, and when you're done, you just take a break, turn it off, whatever. And Nintendo, if you're listening to this, and I think you are, make the mini Super Nintendo happen. Make it happen and make enough of them so we can all enjoy them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I know one way we definitely get Nintendo to listen to this, put some like Nintendo music in the background.
Then we just get a letter saying, we're going to monetize this. You can't.
You can't monetize this, dearies. Anyways.
Good luck monetizing this.
Yeah. I mean, no, we're wealthy. Yeah. Anyways, Turf, it's about that time, I think. So do you want to do the outros and tell us, where to listen to this episode and all that good stuff?
I'll tell you what, I will do the outro, and I'll let everybody know that if you stumble across this on YouTube, there are 56 other episodes of this on YouTube. Be sure to check those out. They're fun to watch. Maybe. I think so. Or maybe I'm just egocentric and like to listen to myself talk. But what this thing is meant for, this is just, the video is just kind of a bonus. We don't ever edit it or anything like that because we're just recording the audio. So you can take this with you everywhere you go, anywhere your whatever mobile device will play podcasts. You can download us from iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, all those cool places. And SoundCloud and Tuned In and
it's a new one. All right.
well, no, we've been on there the whole time. I just forgot about it.
Sorry, guys.
Anywhere you can find a podcast, we're there, man. If we're not, you let me know, and I'll go ahead and add it to it. So be sure to hit us up on all the social media. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know we're awesome or terrible. It doesn't matter. Any kind of feedback's cool.
Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter at OPB Podcast, Facebook.com/OPB Podcast, Instagrams at OPB Podcast, OPB Podcast at gmail.com. If you're feeling like sending me an email, there you go.
Turf, that was lovely. That was perfect. Well done. All right, you two. It was a blast as usual. Thursdays, we look forward to them. They happen, and just like that, the Our Parents Basement episode has to come to a close. But you know what? I'm excited already for next week because as far as I can tell, babies, stop distracting me. As far as I can tell, we'll be doing this again, not next Thursday as usual, but next Tuesday because, we'll have a little bit of a scheduling conflict next Thursday. So stay tuned for that. We will see you again real soon. Thanks for listening. And take care of yourselves. Until then.
Good night.